mission at Evergreen is to enrich the health and well-being of every life that we touch.
It's not about building things, it's about serving patients.
The goal of this project was to build a progressive care unit, which is telemetry monitoring for patients who are not quite critical care, but they're not typical med-surg.
So you can't hide everything above the ceiling. As much as we would like to, we can't. So the walls are really critical for us, and their access to them.
You end up doing things because you have to keep current, because the medical profession has to keep current, where they can practice medicine to the highest degree of their abilities.
With the exception of the code walls, the smoke walls, everything else is a modular wall system. Prefab, built in the factory, brought onto site, erected, connected to all of the gases, power, data, and other systems.
I believe if we had gone conventional build, we would have never met our deadline goals at all.
We were able to take a number of individuals that would typically be in a given room for a conventional construction system, and the work that they would typically perform was performed in the factory prior to coming out to site.
I, at the time, was answering to the CFO, and I said, if we go this way, within 30 years, if we take the rooms down for 2 days, this system is paid for.
Initially, we're very skeptical of the process and whether or not the owner was going to go for it, as we started looking at it's such an unconventional system as compared to what we would normally see in a hospital environment.
Everything about the manufacturer is different than what the average building inspector or building official is expecting to see. So we did a lot of homework with them and said, we think it's all okay, we think we can meet code, are you good? You know, they said yes. Did the same thing on the acoustical side with the Department of Health and the privacy standards. We actually mocked up 3 rooms, went through all of that, tested it with an acoustical engineer, said, are we good with this?
It turned out quite well. We did follow up with the testing with a completed room, and we were pleased to to conclude that the actual installation was consistent with the mock-up, and we ended up meeting the code requirement.
Our lifespan for this space is somewhere between 25 and 30 years. So where's technology going to be 25 or 30 years from now?
What we know about the healthcare population is most of it is moving to outpatient for preventative care, but that just means that the patients that come to a hospital are going to be sicker and sicker and sicker over time. And so to prepare for that, we made these rooms so they could function as a secondary critical care unit room.
We have all kinds of systems, but we also have water, so it's a wet wall, which is of concern to us with leaks and things, and we can get in quickly, check for a leak, make a repair, get the room back online very quickly.
As opposed to a traditional build where you have to go in, make a hole in the wall, do all your work, again, come in, patch and paint, wait for that to dry, sand it all down, paint it, clean the room totally, and then you can use it for patient care again. You do that to 31 rooms for a couple of days per, and you figure out the cost.
We have had the attitude in the past that we're building it perfect and we're done. The fact is we're never done.
Our head of RT had kind of a meltdown and said, oh, you've put all these baskets on the wall in the wrong spot and I can't get to the oxygen.
And they thought it was going to be a big deal, and I said, we have these charts that show like pain. And I said, well, where did you think this was going to be on the pain scale for us to do that? And they were somewhere between 7.5 and 8. And I said, well, for us to move this, it's really going to be somewhere between like 0 and 1.
I was able to show to somebody else how easy this system is to work with and how easy it is to adapt to particular needs of any patient.
We also chose to do the bathroom and the support areas in the modular system as well. With the integrated casework capability, it let us use space maximally and efficiently and still get a full shower room, bathroom, combination.
If I were going to give anybody a piece of advice regarding this, I would say bring your vendor of choice in early, bring your contractor in early, get shop drawings done really early. You know, get the manufacturer involved as deeply as you can in the design process.
I think people will start to better understand that there are advantages to the system and that it's not as scary as it might seem on the front end.
I would recommend it to any healthcare organization. I think it's a great way to go. You have a lot less hassle as far as build goes. You have a lot more flexibility. I would encourage others to use it and use it for everything.
People walk onto the floor and say, you know, it's really pretty and it's really pleasant to be here. And for somebody to say that in a hospital environment, that's pretty good.